Well, hello my dear companions, welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies. This is a long mod. I think it's officially longer now than the main game. But anyhow, last time was depressing. really depressing. And yeah, let's continue. Hope you have your favorite blanket, your favorite snacks, and enjoy this. As I'm slowly aroused back into consciousness, I let out a long yawn. Watching the faint streams of sunlight permeate my room. I'm still feeling a little drowsy, so I should just... Wait, why does my chest feel so warm? Yuri is there, right? As my eyes take in the sight in front of me, the memories from last night come flooding back. The cuts, the fear on her face, the plea to stay with me overnight. One of her sleeves has pushed up slightly, affording me a sight I'd rather I didn't have access to. Seeing such marks on Yuri's pale arm, some of which still look fairly new, I wince as though it's my own flesh which bears the scars. Why? How? So many questions. A small sound from Yuri pulls me away from the flurry of thoughts in my head. It sounds like a content sigh. If I look closely, I can make out a small smile on her face as she clings to me a little harder. A wave of happiness courses through me, which, having seen her scars again, feels a little foreign. Still, it feels incredible to have someone you love cuddle up against you in their sleep. Yeah. Something about the physical closeness during such an intimate moment. I can reach out and gently stroke the top of her head. She smells faintly of lavender, her hair soft and silken. It's a given that someone like Yuri takes care of herself, I suppose, with no parents around. Yeah, but who is she living with? Is she living alone? Is that when she started? No. I don't want this moment to be ruined by anything. We can talk about all of that stuff later. I just want to see her happy, so for now I just focus on the smell and the softness of her hair, along with the feel of her head on my chest. I don't know how long we stayed in the peaceful embrace, but eventually Yuri stirs, offering me a smile as she rises from my chest. Rubbing her eyes as she slowly sits up, she lets out a small yawn. There's a silence for a moment. You were up before me? Yeah, hard to believe, right? Don't worry, I find it just as hard to believe as you do. My attempt at humor is weak. Yuri laughs as well, but it's easy to tell that it's a little forced. There's no denying the tension. The elephant in the room may have been averted while we were asleep, but there's no escape now. So Yuri, I was wondering... She abruptly gets out of bed and heads for the door. Without a glance back in my direction, she speaks. Her assertive tone surprises me. Let's make breakfast, Salsa. But, please? She doesn't want to talk about it. She turns to face me. While she's making eye contact, I can read the message on her face. Not yet. Yeah, she's not ready to talk about it just yet. Wearily, I climb out of bed and follow her down the hallway, wondering how the rest of the day will go. Saying that the breakfast wasn't a comfortable affair would be quite the understatement. Yuri wasn't making eye contact and even stopped frequently to ensure her sleeves were completely covering her wrists. Every time she picked up a knife to cut some food, I couldn't help but wince. My mind was doing me no favors. Has she cut herself with a knife? Last night she used a razor blade. Does she have a stash of them at home? Or is she cutting habit related to her knife collecting hobby? The tension has grown tenfold since she woke up. I'm desperately trying to think of a way to break the uneasy silence, but can't come up with anything. Diplomacy can only get me so far, and I don't know why I skipped that. How am I meant to even approach the topic? I've never had a friend who's self-harmed before. I can see that. I stare into the last remaining crumbs of my meal. Eating in silence has proven to be unbelievably awkward. Desperate for something to do, I stand up and head for the sink. At least the prospect of washing up my plate gives me something to focus on. As I stand by the sink, Yuri's voice pierces the silence. I'm really sorry. For what? She gestures around her. For this. For everything. I dump the unwashed plate in the sink and walk over to her. She's staring forlornly at the ground. You don't have to apologize for anything. Seriously. Am I the only person who knows? Yes. Then, well, sorry if I sound presumptuous, but well, I imagine it must be pretty hard, right? Very much so. It's a little overwhelming. I take one of her hands in mine. She's shaking. It's okay, Yuri, it's okay. Just take your time. There's no rush. She nods. I imagine you probably have a few questions you want to ask. There's no point in trying to beat around the bush here. Yeah, there are. I wince at how direct that sounds. Then again, I am really curious, so I can't exactly win either way, can I? She takes a deep breath. What would you like to know? Oh boy, where do I even begin? How long has she been an orphan for? When did she start cutting? There's so many questions or choices. It's probably best to start with an understanding of her self-harm, though. Well, why do you do it? She closes her eyes and slowly lets the breath out through her nose. She's still closing her eyes as she talks. It's a way of coping. Yeah, we talked about this in the last video. Usually it's not like suicidal thoughts or they want to self-harm. It's a way of coping. It's how I deal with the sadness and self-loathing within. Self-loathing? People have never liked me, Salsa. All throughout my life, I've never been accepted. People never understood me, nor did they ever take the time to try to. I've never been particularly sociable. As you can see, I much prefer to keep to myself. Now, that alone wouldn't be too hard, so some people misread the introversion. But combined with my fascination with horror and knife collecting hobby, these things combined tend to make people see me as creepy, a freak, an outcast. That quiet girl in the back who doesn't speak much, the girl who's fascinated by the macabre. It's no wonder they judge me. Anyway, so that's why. She takes a few deep, shaky breaths in an attempt to calm herself down. I didn't realize how difficult this must be for you to talk about. I'm so sorry. The angry look on her face startles me. No. Don't you ever apologize for my own shortcomings, Elsa. I deserve to be weak. But you don't. Why would you even think that? Because, like I said, I was always judged for who I was. Initially, I thought it was everyone else who was wrong. She laughs bitterly. Such arrogance. No, it wasn't them who were wrong. It was me. But if it were just one person who judged me in such a way, well, I would be inclined to believe the problem lied in them. But it wasn't just one person, it was everyone. It gets to a point when you finally realize that it's not them who are the problem, it's you. Girl, you are so wrong. It's bad, but I could deal with it because I at least had my parents to help me. Given I'm the first person who knows of her self-harm, given I'm the first person to know of her self-harm, does that mean? As if by reading my mind Yuri answers that very question. No, not even my parents knew. That's when it began. I hated keeping myself harm from them. I didn't want them to know. It scared me enough as it was, and I couldn't imagine how much it would scare them. I was terrified when I first tried it. I remember the day it started. Some of the students mocked me relentlessly because I stuttered during a class reading. I always used to dread reading aloud, and I remember at lunchtime I locked myself in one of the bathroom stalls. I didn't mean to cut myself, I just wanted to admire one of my knives. Despite it being a constant reminder of what's wrong with me, just holding something so dear to me was comforting. I gripped it too hard, and that's when I discovered it. The rush. That I felt like the perfect release. It was tangible, but it was also terrifying. It felt so good having that physical release. But I was in shock. I couldn't believe what I had done. I felt like such a freak. I don't know what to say. Words are beyond me at this point. How am I even meant to reply to what I'm hearing? My parents were the only people who ever accepted me for who I was. Even though they didn't know about the self-harm, they never judged me for my taste in literature, nor did they question my interest in knives. Why would you question other people's hobbies and interests? Come on, we all like different things. It's never wrong with you. You are never the wrong here, you know? It's even if 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people say that you are weird or different. No. It's a good thing to be different. It's a good thing to have hobbies that are special and unique, and I feel really sorry for Yuri. While school was a torment, I sought solace in knowing that no matter how bad it would get, I was safe at home. Fresh tears started to trickle down her face once more, until they died. And just like that, I had lost them, the only support I ever had. I reached out to brush her away Yuri's tears. She doesn't move or do anything else to acknowledge that I'm even there. Throughout her heart-wrenching explanation, Yuri had been trying to maintain control over her voice and face. The stuttering, pained expressions that occasionally flickered over her features showed all I needed to know. As I scooped her into my arms, the dam she's been trying so hard to contain finally bursts. She sobs unrestrainedly into my chest as she anguished cries fill the room. I miss them so much, Salsa. My vision is blurry as she drenches the front of my shirt. I can physically feel her cries on my chest, right next to my heart. I want to see them again. I want to stop pretending that the person I am in the arms of right now is my dad. There isn't anything I'd give to hear them ask me how my day was, or even if it was awful. Anything at all. Please. My brain is in a frenzy. Say something, Salsa. Yuri. It's going to be okay. You're not alone anymore. I'm here. I'm with you. and I'm never going to leave you. I promise. She looks up with a big, wet purple eyes. You really mean that? Because I don't know what I would do if I lost you as well, Salsa. Of course I mean it, I swear on it. You're my girlfriend and I love you. Even after everything I've just told you. She gestures miserably to her wrist. Even with these? The venomous disdain in her voice is frightening to hear. I wasn't even sure she was capable of such scorn, negativity. I love you for who you are, Yuri. Which includes everything you hate about yourself. Scars or not, you're my girlfriend, and nothing's going to change that. Salsa. A strange look comes over her face while her breathing grows ragged and fast-paced. Yuri? Are you okay? Sorry, this is just so much to take in. You looked a bit... I don't know. Her hands suddenly darts to her wrist. And in that instant I suddenly realized the situation we're in. Yuri, stay with me. Please. I can't. Yes, you can. Focus on my voice. Look at me. I'm doing my absolute best not to descend into an utter state of panic. For both of our sakes. I can't let her start cutting. Yeah. It kind of feels like she just needs to rush to the bathroom and do her thing, but we're not gonna let her. She's tentatively scratching at the flesh of her. Yeah, it starts off slow but quickly grows into in frequency and intensity. In desperation, I reach for her hand. Yuri, just talk to me. Say something, anything. What's going on in your mind? I'm not sure if asking her to describe the urge is going to help. It could actually be harmful. But I'm finding it hard to think straight, and the tiny voice of reason in my head is telling me that distracting her and forcing her to talk to me is the right thing to do. I think so too. I need a release. Whenever I feel like this, She tries to wrench her arm free from my grip, but there's no way she's getting free. I tilt her head up so that she has to make eye contact with me. My body needs the pain. I need the control. The cutting, it helps me make sense of everything. No. Sense of everything? She swallows and her eyes focus on mine. The physical pain is something tangible that I can actually feel, something that I can make sense of. When I feel emotionally overwhelmed, I feel so powerless. I can see that. The cutting helps me regain that control that I desperately need. It sounds I know it sounds crazy, but it helps me feel alive. When I'm so mentally overwhelmed, the numbness, it's without mercy. So I need something to focus on. And that's exactly what the pain serves as. But why do you have to use a blade? Can't you just, I don't know, pinch yourself or scratch? You have no idea what the urge is like, Salsa. My whole body screams for that release. Scratching or pinching it would never satisfy that urge. Yuri's breathing slowly grows more regular. She's no longer trying to wrench her hand free from my grasp. Good. So I tentatively let her go, although I remain close, anticipating another attempt. I've never been in a position where I have the urge to cut when I'm around someone else. Do you? Do you still feel the need to cut? Yes, but it's a lot more manageable now. I think I'll be okay. My God, I'm relieved to hear that. I have no idea how to deal with this. I told you I was a freak. You're not a freak. Just been through a lot. And cutting happens to be how you deal with the trauma. It's hardly a healthy coping mechanism though, is it? Well, no, it isn't. It doesn't even need to be said. Okay, so yeah, it isn't a healthy way to cope at all, but either way, I'm just glad you told me. Why are you glad, Salsa? And more importantly, how can you not think I'm a freak? I don't know. I don't know why, but I don't see this as freakish behavior at all. It makes me sad, sure, but it doesn't creep me out. Plus, I like to think I have an open mind, you know. Yuri smiles ruefully at my words. You remind me a little of my father. He was the one who introduced me to knives back when I was young and just a little girl. As eager as I was to learn about her self-harm, I'm grateful that this is an opportunity to discuss something else. Yes. The incident just now was just staggering. Well, what were your parents like? They were wonderful. I couldn't have asked for better. You never told me about how you first got into horror, it's a guess, but was it your parents who introduced you to the genre? After everything that's happening so far today, the genuine smile on her face truly is a sight to behold. How did you know? I'm a psychic. Kidding, I'm just very intuitive. I just had an idea. Why don't you tell me more about them over a nice cup of tea? I don't know about you, but I'm definitely in the mood for a hotter drink. I'd like that a lot. Awesome, let's get started then. That's good. I need to save, by the way. Oh, I hope this game doesn't continue to be this dark. We've played a few kind of dark mods, but this one, wow. As I was hoping, the change of topic combined with relaxing tea has finally helped to bring a sense of normality to the day. Of course, the after effects of the morning still linger in the air. Yuri is still on edge, but we're at least able to work around it. Funnily enough, me getting into horror actually stemmed completely from chance. What do you mean? Well, one day both of my parents were out and it was a rainy day, so I couldn't go outside. Naturally, I was confined to the house. I was wandering around looking for something new to read. I happened to find a copy of an old ghost story that my father left out and immediately began reading. Given that it was a book for adults, I didn't really understand what was going on, but I was able to get the general gist. When my parents came back, my dad was surprised to see me reading it. Clearly, he didn't expect that I'd like it. I remembered how my mother scolded him for being so careless. She didn't like the idea of her young daughter reading such a dark tale. I remember he pretended to be apologetic, but when she was out of sight, he eagerly asked me what he made of the story so far. It was obvious that I didn't really understand it, so he offered to read it with me, helping me out with his more complex words and explaining the story as it progressed. What was the story about? That must be pretty good if you remember it so well. You see, it was an old Victorian tale about a young governess who was sent to look after her family's young children at their summer home. And there it is, the passionate fire in her eyes, the kind of fervor, only seen when Yuri talks about the interests she holds dear to her. How someone could ever shame someone for such a passion. Yeah, I know, right? I think it's incredible when you see someone who is really, really passionate about something. I mean, I think that's like a gift, you know? Whatever it is you are passionate about, if you are really passionate about something, that's just hats off to you. That's incredible that you feel like that. Because I don't think many people really have a true passion, you know? It sickens me how cruel people can be. She begins to see figures of a man and woman around the house, but the servants of the house deny seeing such figures. Soon the governess learns that her predecessor used to have a relationship with another employee, and before these two died, they spent much time with their children. Given that these figures seem to come and go at will and haven't been seen by other employees, she quickly suspected that they are supernatural in nature. I can't quite remember the ending, but what I never really forget is the clever writing. We, as the readers, are never given any concrete answer as to if these figures are real or merely a figment of our imagination. Was the governess just hallucinating? Or did the ghosts of these people really prowl around the house? Sounds to me like she just imagining it, to be honest. Although it does seem kinda coincidental how the ghosts seem to have perfectly matched the profile of her predecessor and her lover. Indeed, what's more is that the young boy who was revealed to have been expelled, and it's heavily hinted at what he did to earn such a punishment was terrible in nature. With such a suspicious outlook, it's natural that the reader doubts the children's claims of innocence, especially when the governess asks if they too saw the figures. Ghostly apparitions, creepy, suspicious children. I feel the hair on the back of my neck standing up. Jeez, even from Yuri's description, the plot sounds exceptionally gripping. There's a dreamy tone in Yuri's voice as she speaks. And I remember my father encouraged me to question whether the ghosts were real. As a child, I took things at face value. The governess said she saw them, so that was what I believed. And he taught me how to approach things from another angle, how to consider other viewpoints. In turn, it helped broaden my appreciation for such clever writing. And to this day I still wonder if the ghosts were real. Yeah, read the book again, come on. So your analytical approach came from your dad. I suppose you could say that, yes. He was always methodical and organized in nature, so it's given his personality rubbed off on me. I think he'd be really proud of you, Yuri. If he could see you now. Come on! Tears slowly leak from her face once more. Would he? I hid so much from him. I pulled her close to me, tenderly caressing her cheeks with my hands. We all have our demons, Yuri. That is true. That is true. Everyone has things they regret, things they don't want other people to know. To hell with other people if they judged you for the things you liked or your quiet nature. Because I love your characteristics. Even if you hate them, I love them. They make you who you are. If you enjoy horror, if you enjoy collecting knives, who has any right to shame you for it? Exactly. F them. Don't know any better. She gives me a watery smile. Thank you, Salsa. You really do mean so much to me. And I'm so glad that we met. Having someone like you in my life is... I'll describe it in words. Wowie. Must be tough then, if even you can't describe it. Yuri makes a sound that sounds like a mix of laugh and sob. Hey, Yuri. Yes, Salsa Sue? If you don't mind me asking. There we go. My computer is messing up a bit. When did your parents... It's okay, don't have to answer. Last February. It was a car crash. Last February. Okay. So sorry. It was probably insensitive of me to even ask. It wasn't. I've been keeping a lot of things from you, so it's only fair that I should stop doing that. After all, you're my boyfriend now. It still feels a little strange to say that. Not in a bad thing, not in a bad way though. I feel exactly the same way, you know. I still find it hard to believe that such a beautiful, intelligent girl fell for me. Must be the luckiest guy on the planet. Don't be silly, Salazar. You have such a big heart. Any girl would be lucky to have you. To be honest, I'm surprised at you and Sayori. Sayori and I? No, I friend-zoned her a long time ago. Well, given you were childhood friends, I imagined you'd be gotten together with her after seeing her again. should have been a much better girlfriend too. Look at me. Takes a little bit of coaxing, but eventually she reluctantly makes eye contact. Sayori will always be a wonderful friend of mine. Yes, we have that history together, but I'm not living in the past. You and I have a special kind of connection that I can't explain. There's something about you that drew me in all those months ago. But she's so happy, so energetic and bubbly. Wouldn't you rather have a girl like that instead of a broken, miserable mess like me? I shake my head. That's not how I see things, Yuri. Surprisingly, she didn't back it down. Ask the question, Salsa. I stare at her, both confused and surprised. I'd rather have you. Even though I'm an ugly freak with those... Come on, Yuri, you're not. I don't know what to choose. To get the good ending, we need to kind of force her, to be independent and do things her own way, and I think I'm gonna have to say your scars are beautiful. I'm not sure. They're not horrible, Yuri. Your scars are beautiful. No, they aren't. They're nothing but a hideous, ugly reminder of who I am, but... Maybe that was a bad thing? I don't know. Some of these choices are really hard to know if we are gonna get the good or bad ending. Sorry, but do you mind if we do something else? If it's okay with you, because I'd rather not talk about this any longer, if that's alright. Her words aren't particularly assertive, but there's a definite forcefulness behind her tone. Well, given how emotionally draining it must be to talk about this, I can hardly blame her for wanting to do something enjoyable to take her mind off things. Yeah, sure. A relieved, grateful smile appears on her face. Thank you. I'm not sure about the answer I picked, but let's go with it for now. If we get the bad ending, we might go back and change. Would you like to try cooking a new recipe? I happened to come across an exciting dish online. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I blink. Guess it's just the surprise of going from such a heavy topic to suddenly talking about cooking. Sure thing. I might have to go buy some of the ingredients though. I see, this recipe does require fresh vegetables. For instance, do you have any daikon? I wouldn't even know where to start with cooking a daikon radish. I'll take that as a no, then I'll think the vegetables shop has some. Lead the way. Hey Yuri, yes? I know you said you don't want to talk about what we discussed, but I'm sorry to bring it up, but just know that if you ever want to talk about, anything, then I'll always listen, okay? There's a quiet pause. Thank you, Salsa. I'll do my best to remember that. Sharing myself out with someone was daunting, but, well, I'm grateful that I was able to tell someone. Hey, I'm just glad you were comfortable enough to show me. That can't have been easy. I reach out to squeeze her hand as we share a smile. Hope things will be okay in the end. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll continue a bit longer. We're gonna continue a bit longer. I'm just trying to go for the good ending, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get it. I'm not sure. It's Monday. God, I've never hated a Monday more than today. How am I supposed to focus on classwork after everything that's happened last week? Why can't I just stay home with Yuri all day? I just want to cuddle up under the covers with her and talk until I can truly understand her. Well, technically I could do that, but Yuri definitely wouldn't spring for it. Yeah, she would never skip school. Knowing her, she'd balk at the thought of missing school, despite having all these problems and even bullies to deal with. Actually, that's kind of strange how she never misses school. Even she's a total bookworm, she's got to feel at least some reluctance, right? Especially on the bad days or on the days where the bullies come after her. Fortunately, the bullies only target her when she's alone, and between the club and I, Yuri's not alone often anymore. But even if the bullies are taken out of the equation, it can't be easy going to school sometimes. If my unwillingness can be that strong on exam days, how must she feel on certain days? She says she cuts when she's feeling overwhelmed. Don't tell me that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does it at school too. Stop thinking these things. Stop doubting Yuri. Aren't I right in worrying about Yuri like that? Is this doubt well placed? I think it is, though. Maybe doubt is the wrong word, but after all, I'm just genuinely worried about both her mental and physical health. How can I not after seeing her harmed like that? And I don't even know if she cuts anywhere else on her body either. She couldn't have done that, right? There's only so much you can cut a single arm, yeah. Both arms, legs. Burying my face in my hands, I sigh. Why do I suddenly feel so guilty about thinking these things? I don't want to change how I see Yuri, but at the same time, I just can't help it. Do I just ignore it and try to treat her normally? Yes. But I still have to be careful of triggering an episode. At the same time, I don't want to expect that she cuts 24/7. She doesn't do that, does she? I don't even know how often she harms herself. Obviously she can't do it when she's talking to someone when she's alone. Well, she only said that she does it when her feelings come to a head. A freak. She called herself a freak. I have to wonder, did she start calling herself that on her own accord, or did she internalized others' words? Sleeping again, Salazar? Not this time, I swear. I haven't seen much of these characters. I would like to know more about them. So to it. See to it that I don't catch you sleeping anymore, young man. You got it. I didn't notice that you were zoned out the whole day, though. Anything you up to with you? No, not really. I've just been thinking about stuff. By the way, what would you define as a freak? What? We asked Shiori about that? Why are you asking such this all of a sudden? Just answer the question. I guess a freak would be a person who's abnormal. That's it. Why can't you say that I'm a freak then? For instance, I watch anime more than the average person. Well, no, a freak would be abnormal in a grotesque kind of way. That is, if you were to talk and call someone a freak in a mean-spirited manner. There are loads of different definitions you can use, so you kind of need that context for it, yeah, I guess. Is someone bullying you? No. Shiori's tone suddenly sharpens in a more serious one. No, but thanks for the concern. She immediately relaxes at that. That's why we elected her as a representative. She genuinely cares about the class. Yeah, that's good. I'm just wondering. If you ever need to think out loud, I'll be here. That's my duty as a class rep. As your friend. Thanks. If we're in the same class next term, I'll be sure to vote for you again. Thanks. Are you heading to literature club after this? Yep, what are you doing after school? I'm in the kendo club. Cool. I would love to be in the kendo club. Dang, I knew you were part of a band club, but I didn't know you also did kendo. I may be short, but I'm pretty good at it, if I do say it myself. To say so myself. I'm trying to climb up the ranks in the club. With any luck, I'll be captain of the team by the time I'm a third year. It'd be a dream to come true to to become the ultimate sword woman. Given how passionate you are about it, I'm sure you will. The bell rings, interrupting our conversation.
Speaking of which, I've gotta go.
See ya.
See ya.
My thoughts turn toward Yuri again as I leave the classroom. Hopefully it's not too much for her if I continue talking to her about everything. It should be a release for her, right? Or at least I hope so.
Salsa, we need to save the game. So let's do that first.
There we go. Yuri's waiting for me at our usual spot. Wanna get going?
Of course.
We walk in silence for a bit. It's like Yuri's secret is weighing down heavily on us. Or on me at least. I don't know if the events of the weekend are on her mind as well. Maybe I'm just the one who's making things weird. Snap out of it, come on. Let's just lighten the mood a bit. You're looking forward to the literature club?
As much as I would any other day, I suppose. Why, is there something special happening today?
No, it's just that it feels so normal to be going to the club. Like after what happened. Don't bring it up all the time. God damn it, yeah. Just can't help to return. Yeah, don't return to the topic. Well, it felt like things would change. But here we are doing the same things as usual. Not that doing the same thing is bad though. Sorry for constantly talking about this stuff.
But it's fine, it's only natural that you'd want to know more about everything. However, not all change is necessarily bad. For instance, it's been free to be able to share these feelings with someone. Yuri brushes her hand against mine, causing me to grab hold of it. Yeah, I'm definitely glad that change happened. We arrive at the club room and step inside. For once, it seemed like Yuri and I are the last one to the club. Well, look like the lovebirds are late. Had a secret tryst on your way over here?
A blush spreads across Yuri's face that makes even me feel embarrassed. No, besides, we're not even late.
Though those protects too much, methinks.
What? Save it, Shakespeare.
That is from Shakespeare, actually. Hamlet, to be specific.
Of course she knew that. Trusting Yuri to know her every single literary reference there is. Don't tell me we're going to start a unit of Shakespeare in the club now.
Don't worry, I wouldn't inflict that on you guys. Not right now, at least.
Can't tell if she's being serious or not. Anyway, now that everyone's here, we can start our meeting. Natsuki and Sayori pop out of the closet to join the conversation. I guess Sayori was helping reorganize Natsuki's manga or something.
Salsa, Yuri, you're finally here.
Finally? What's that supposed to mean?
Obviously it means that you two are slowpokes.
How many times am I going to have to say we're not late? All in good fun, Salsa. So what did everyone do over the weekend? The weekend is kind of surreal to think. It's kind of surreal to think that people were going about their days normally while you and I were talking about such dark subjects.
Homework and manga for me.
Sounds about right.
Had to do some part-time work too.
What kind of work is it?
I bet it was something cute, like a waitress job as a maid cafe.
Yeah, I will. I would love to see Natsuki as a maid at the cafe. She would be so angry at the customers.
What? Who do you think I am? It was, this and that. Sayori, what did you do?
Sorry.
Sayori, what did you do?
Yes, she doesn't want to talk about it. Given her sudden change in subject. Maybe she really is working at the maid cafe. I'm pretty sure.
I caught up on sleep.
Sayori, you sleep every day. There's no way you need to catch up on sleep.
Meaning you never have too much sleep.
Amen to that, girl. Amen to that. I can definitely relate to that. I never have enough sleep myself. She sighs a wry smile on her face. Not only do I have cram school and tennis practice every day, but I also have to deal with class rep and club duties. Humble brag much?
Don't you ever have any time to yourself?
Free time, to be honest. I'm so busy that it's kind of a foreign concept to me. That's what I get for signing up to so many things a day. Yeah, she does it to herself. It can be truly surprising what a single person is capable of. That's just an exaggeration. There are lots of downsides to this kind of lifestyle. Marika's face visibly falls. It does sound kind of hellish to not have time to herself. Yeah, poor girl. Does she even hang out with friends outside of school? Enough about me. What did you do, Yuri? Yuri gives me a pleading glance. Yuri and I hung out over the weekend. We talked a lot about stuff. Wow, what a lovely couple you are. Thanks for saving the PDA for the weekends. Nasty pantomimes. Barfing. When you guys started dating, I'm going to return all these teasing tenfold. Isn't that right, Yuri?
I suppose so.
Well, looks like we all have supremely exciting lives.
We're really living on the edge, right?
How about we keep up with the excitement and share our poetry now? We haven't written a poem. Hold on, I kind of have to talk to Yuri first, privately. Yuri shoots a curious look. Alright, we can just... It might be a long conversation, so you guys can go ahead and share poetry first. Is everyone else okay with that, Yuri? Everyone nods in affirmation. Okay then, don't take too long. You bet I'm gonna take it long. Yeah. Alright, come on Yuri, let's step outside for a bit. So what was it you wanted to talk to me about? Well, to be honest, I needed a distraction because I forgot to write the poem. Salsa. Sorry, wait, don't go back in. This then smiles patronizing. Come on, my computer is messing up. Come on. There we go. Sorry about that. Thanks for putting up with me, and now that I think about it, there are something I wanted to talk to you about anyway. I actually thought of it during the conversation back inside, but Yuri, are you going to tell the others about your self-harm?
No.
She immediately panics at my question. I didn't mean right now, so I just meant eventually when you're comfortable, of course.
I see. Sorry, Salsa, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to tell them, even in the future.
Why not? Wouldn't you want your friends to know what is going on in your life? You could be providing as much support as I do, only multiplied by 4.
No.
No? Yuri looks down at the ground, not meeting my eyes.
I can't. I wouldn't be able to stand if they started treating me differently. Can't things just stay the same, please?
Yuri, you even said it yourself, sometimes change is necessary.
I didn't say that, I said that change isn't necessarily bad. But in this case it's neither necessary or positive. What it will do is change how others see me. But how can you, well, get better without people supporting you and standing by your side? Look, Salsa, even you see me differently now. Don't try to argue otherwise, it's only to be expected. I know you're trying your best. Yuri, please, let this matter go. Alright.
If you're not comfortable talking about it, I won't force you to.
Thank you. Now if you could excuse me.
She slides open the door and slips through. Can't help but feel like this is a conversation that we'll return to later. I think so too. At least she knows where I stand on the subject. Of course, it's difficult for me to understand her point of view sometimes, but I really do think that she should confide in others too, not just me. For now though, I have to figure out an excuse for forgetting me. Yeah, Monica's gonna kill us! Oh. Let's continue a bit longer. Why not? Let's do it. Oh, back home? Oh, it's crazy to think about how fast things is flying by. It seemed like only yesterday I found out about your self-harming tendencies. How much time has passed? As I am absent-mindedly thumbing through my phone, I'm once again reminded that February has already started. The past few weeks felt they hadn't even happened at all. Come on, effing computer, don't mess up now. I really need to get a new computer. Well, I guess that's not strictly true. I mean, yeah, in many ways, life remained the same. We're still a couple, school hasn't changed much. We still go to literature club, so it's been a few weeks, okay? But despite the apparent normality, things feel different, for obvious reasons, I guess. A pang of anxiety shoots through me. I don't think I'll ever get that scene on my head. True. I think we all have like memories that are etched into our brain forever, that are really, really vivid memories. Good or bad? When I first saw her, razor in hand, blood on the floor, even after a few weeks, the image is still burned into my mind. The other girls are still oblivious, and Yuri's stance on whether or not she should tell them hasn't changed at all. I sigh and wearily rub my hands through my hair. What am I meant to do? Perhaps I should. One day my phone will stop interrupting me when I'm deep in thought. Mom? Hey Mom.
Hey Salazar, it's been so long.
It really has, hasn't it? When's the last time we talked?
My goodness, I think it was before Halloween. That means it's been...
We haven't talked in the phone with our mom for 3 months? Okay.
Anyway, what's new?
Oh, actually, what about Yuri? Are you guys together yet? Well, I can practically hear the anticipation through the phone screen. Yeah, we are. I had a feeling you'd tell me that. Look at you, my little prince, all grown up. Mom, really? Little prince? Sorry. Just that from a mother's perspective, well, your son's first girlfriend is big news. I can't wait to meet her. You'd only get to meet her if you promise not to embarrass me when she's over. Can't make any promises. I roll my eyes. I can practically see the smug smirk on her face, even though we're hundreds of miles apart. Anyway, December exam results.
Yes, I hope you studied hard and got the grades you need, young man.
Don't worry, I did just fine. Sakurai gave me my result last week and he was pretty impressed. To be honest, I was pretty surprised myself. Overall, I did well, but I'm really aced Japanese, history and English. Maybe because of Yuri. That's excellent to hear, sweetheart. Well done. A small laugh filters through the phone speakers. What's so funny? I just remember you saying that Yuri is a huge fan of literature and she's constantly reading books, right? Yeah. Well, assuming you guys discuss these books, well then it's clear that she's rubbing off on you. Seems like she's really helped you appreciate literature, making you more analytical and thoughtful yourself. Clearly it's showing in your grades. Really? I've never even thought about that. I guess that's... But yeah, I think Yuri has rubbed off on us. Does it happen in every relationship? Hard to say, really. It's definitely common, though. You spend so much time with your parent that you subconsciously start copying their mannerisms and tendencies. Your partner. And that may be useful, especially now. Why? They do it. It's Valentine's Day coming up soon. Oh yes, I totally forgot about that. It's February now. If a personality is rubbing off on you, you might find it easier to think of something special for her. I totally forgot. Yeah, me too. On the year that you got the girlfriend, you forget about such a romantic day. Me, myself, personally, I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day. I am not a big fan of it. I usually think just you can be lovely and do small things for each other every day of the year. You don't have to have a specific day. Just a way for many businesses to sell you super expensive stuff. You can do all these kind of things throughout the year, any day, you know? I think it's more special that way. When you put it like that, it does seem like a little illogical. Well, it's not for a week, so I'll still got time. Don't dawdle, sweetheart. You'd be amazed how quickly that week will zip by. Yeah, we will forget it. We will forget it. I get it. I'll think of something. Anyway, what you been up to? Given that it's been a while since you called, I imagine work must be really busy. This is Sai on the other end. Yes, you're right. Clients have been so demanding over the past few weeks. New projects, new technologies, new strategies. I'll be so glad when this business quarter is over. New technologies and strategies? What do you mean? Well, I won't bore you with all of the fine details. Basically, our company has rolled out this new app. We're supposed to use it when we're talking to our clients, as it's meant to boost communication efficiency. The only problem is it's not exactly intuitive, rather the opposite. There's not been much company training on how to use it. So we basically had to do our own research of how it works. It's tedious, but better not knowing what to do, I suppose. Anyway, unfortunately I'll have to go, sweetheart. And my computer messes up again. F this fuck. Sorry guys, I'm back. Yeah, my computer. I finally got it to work now, hopefully. We'll see, we'll see. It's fine, Mom. You've been really busy, so don't worry about it. Yeah, but she's been working a long time from home. Well, I'll see what I can do. About what? Nothing. She's gonna come home, right? I'm pretty sure she and Yuri is gonna meet. They're gonna meet. Bye, Salsa. Love you. Love you too, Mom. As I put my phone back into my pocket, my mother's words continued to swirl around my head. We've had to do our own research on how it works. The answer was right there. Research self-harm. I guess some good information you can find on the internet, but I don't know, usually not. Man, I can be really dumb sometimes. Either way, it's probably best if I research with Yuri. Yeah. Flick through my meager contacts list and click on her name. Hey Salsa, what are you up to? Not much. Hey, do you mind if I come over? You want to come to my house? Yeah, is that alright? I suppose so. We'll see you soon. I'll see you soon then. And we're gonna go there to talk about self-harm. I don't think that's a good idea. It's strange to think that this is the first time it's happening, even though we've known each other for months. Oh, this is her room. Cool.
After exchanging a kiss, I take a seat on the bed right next to Yuri. She's blushing slightly. You know, your bedroom looks exactly how I imagined it would. What do you mean? Just looks really elegant and tidy. Much like you. And of course, only you would have such a huge bookshelf right next to your bed. How many times have you tried to reach over the bookshelf while you were snuggled under the sheets? She smiles bashfully. It never stops being heartwarming. Maybe a few times. By the way, Salsa, would you like to see my... Get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah, I'm trying. Your what? I'm painfully aware of the suggestive tone the conversation has suddenly adopted. Judging by the curious blushing on Yuri's face, it's safe to say that I'm not the only one. Although you'd probably think it's really weird. The knife collection. Reaches toward the desk and pulls out a medium-sized black box. Yes. Well, you remember how I said I had a knife collection? A wave of understanding washes over me. I had to fight the urge to laugh at myself. My god, the situation could have made a million times more awkward. Yes. Yes. You want to show me your knives? You're not weirded out by it? No, at one point I was tempted to get you a knife for Christmas, but I figured you'd already have a few. Besides, I don't know what types of knives you like. I'm kinda curious, to be honest. I've never met someone who collects them, so yeah, go ahead. Apprehension is still visible on her face, but after swallowing nervously, she gently opens the lid. Wow. You weren't kidding when you said you had a collection. Sorry, I must be... It must be... I know it must be really weird. I don't know why I'm even suggested it. She moves to snap the lid shut, but I reach out and gently grasp her hands. Surprise flickers across her features as she looks at me. If I look closely, I can detect shame in her eyes. It's not weird at all. I accepted who you are a long time ago, Yuri. Don't feel ashamed. Plus, I really want to see the knives of yours. Really? I smile reassuringly. Yes. If you're sure. She gingerly reopens the box and pulls out a small knife. Is this one a dagger? It looks too small to be a knife. It is indeed. This one actually comes from the 18th century. If I recall, it's from Spain. Spanish, huh? I slowly take the dagger from Yuri and hold it in my hand. The hilt is silver and the blade comes with a golden sheath. Carefully, I unsheath it. This one isn't particularly sharp, but I would still recommend exercising caution. I turn it over in my hands. Not exactly a large weapon, but the craftsmanship is undeniable. During the Renaissance age, a dagger such as this one was actually used as part of everyday dress. In fact, daggers were the only weapons the commoners were permitted to carry. The dagger was very popular in Spain, where it was referred to as either a daga or how do you pronounce it when you have this little wave over the end? Punjal? Punsal? I'm not sorry. I think it's Punjal. Tell me in the comments down below if you have any Spanish speaking companions. I sheath the knife and hand it back to Yuri, who puts it back into the box. You really know your stuff, huh? It's really admirable how intelligent you are. Books, science, knives, is there any limit to your knowledge? She blushes and averts her eyes into the box. You're too kind, Salsa. My eyes are drawn to a rather large curved knife that sits in the middle of the box. Wow, this one has a really cool shape. As you move away from the base of the blade, it curves to the side, to a point where the head is at a very different angle. This one has a fascinating story. Her face has lit up, the passion flares behind her eyes. It's a type of fervor
I see only when she's talking about her books. It's actually called the Kukri, and it's an icon of Nepal. Do you see how the head of the head is at an angle? This gives the Kukri immense shopping power. You see, it isn't a knife designed to stab or slice, although you can of course still do that. The head and weight of the blade means that it's very effective at cutting through flesh. In fact, it's even able to cleanly chop limbs off. Okay. I think I know a few fictional serial killers who would love to use a weapon like this one. What's with the little notch over the handle? Essentially, it's to stop blood from dripping onto the user's hand. That would make the handle slippery and... yeah, okay, I see that. I had no idea that so much thought went into the design of these things. To me, knives are just simple cutting tools with a straight edge. Guess it goes to show how much I know. I don't blame you for thinking like that. An interest in knives is hardly the norm, so it's given that you wouldn't give them that much thought. She holds the cookie up and slowly turns it around in her hands. From her expression, it's clear that she's admiring the blade. I'll admit, it's a little unusual after all. If someone told me that one day I'd be looking at my girlfriend admiring a dangerous weapon. Yeah, but being with Yuri, it's opened my eyes. It's helped me to see that people have a variety of interests. In a way, it's refreshing to see such uniqueness in a person. Yes, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. What is it about knives that you like so much? I remember you talked about it a long time ago, but I can't remember what it is that you said. There's so many reasons, some of which make more sense than others, I suppose. Let's start with the simplest reason, the craftsmanship. An untold number of hours go into creating the knives as you see them. The weight, the feel, the sharpness, the length, the design, the color. There's also the rather dark association that knives have. Sasa, am I wrong in thinking that there's something inherently fascinating with the macabre? No, many people like that. Many people like that and are fascinated by it. Yeah. We're taught to fear the darkness, but there's something so intriguing about it. You know, if I think about it, I can see what you mean. Like, if we take Halloween for example, it's pretty much a festival dedicated to the dead, right? It's pretty Sorry, wrong voice. Anyhow, it's pretty commercialized, but I've always enjoyed it. Telling ghost stories, scaring each other, seeing all of the gruesome costumes people wear. Yuri nods in earnest. Fear is such an enigma. Different people fear different things. Some people love horror stories, yet others balk at the very thought. And then it comes to knives. Well, you only need to look at the world around you to see what kind of reputation they have. And knives never judge you. Have you ever used these knives to cut you? Or have you even... Oh, that's a dumb question. Yeah. I'm surprised you even had to ask that. We have so many, and a lot of these knives look, well, they're really big and they look really sharp. Yuri stays silent. I'm just worried about you, that's all. More silence. It's growing more uncomfortable. I know you are, Salsa, and it means a lot to me that you care. I was so afraid that you'd break up with me once you saw my scars. Break up with you? No, of course not. If anything, it made me want to be with you even more. Why? Well, I want to see you get better. And I actually wanted to do some research on self-harm with you. And look at some therapy options, but that won't be necessary. The finality in Yuri's voice stops me dead. I've only heard such assertion in her voice maybe once. Why not?
Because I don't want to go to therapy. Don't you want to stop cutting? Self-harming is the only way I've ever known how to deal with my issues. It's the only way I've been able to express myself, but it needs to stop. But we both know it's not a healthy way to deal with your feelings, Yuri. What if you cut too deeply? Or, I don't know, cut a vein or something? I won't. Oh, come on, girl. Yeah. I know which places are safe to cut and which places which specific areas to avoid. That doesn't make me feel much better, you know. I'm sorry. She sighs deeply. To be honest, I knew that you'd eventually ask me to go to therapy. I know it's probably hard for you to see it like this, but for me it's really not that simple. Then help me understand, please. If I must. Although I warn you, not going to understand at all. Anyway, she reaches into the box and takes out a silver knife. As she speaks, she rolls it between her fingers, taking utmost care not to accidentally cut herself. Like I said, self-harming has been the only way I've been able to deal with my feelings. Yes, I know it's maladaptive, but you have to understand that for me it's like a routine. It may not be a good approach, but it's the only approach I have. But you need to try to get a new approach. But I understand, but still, you know? What is the whole point of therapy? To get me to stop self-harming? In other words, losing the only way up. No, it's not about losing, it's about finding another way. You're not gonna take anything away from her. We just need to find another way to show her that she can have control. I simply couldn't imagine any way of dealing with things. Plus, the thought of opening up to a complete stranger about my innermost insecurities is simply unimaginable. I can see that. I hid it from my parents, I hid it from you. The only reason you knew about my habit was simply through chance. There's an awful lot of vulnerability and blind trust to put into a random stranger, don't you think? As much as I hate to admit, yeah, I can definitely see what she means, yeah. It's easy for me to stand here and ask her to see a therapist, but it's a whole different story for her. If it's any consolation, Salsa, I don't exactly cut frequently. I won't deny that it still happens, but ever since we started dating, it happened a little less. Really? Yes. Having someone to talk to, someone who's open-minded, who's willing to listen to me ramble on about literature or look at knives with me, it does make me different. It does make it different. She slowly inches her face closer to mine. It's amazing how much of a difference just one person can make. That is true. So thank you. She tentatively reaches her arms out for a hug. I comply instantly and pull her close. Her head rests against my shoulder or chest. Yuri, look, I get it. I know you don't want to see a therapist, but can you at least promise me that you'll think about it? For my sake and for yours? She looks up at me. Salsa, please, I'm serious. I know you don't want to, but this isn't something I can ignore. Okay, I promise that I'll at least consider it. But please don't get your hopes up, okay? Right. That's all I can ask for now. She nods slowly. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, would you like to read the first ghost story I've ever... Yeah. What? Would you like to read the very first ghost story I ever read with me? Yeah. The one... her father's book. You still got it on you? Of course. It's one of the strongest reminders I have of my parents. Sadness flickers over her features. I'm quick to reply. Of course. Where is it? She motions to a book resting snugly on the bookshelf next to her bed.
Even though it's a little sad to think about how the book serves as a memory of her dead parents, it's endearing that it's so close to her bed. Almost like a guardian that watches her when she sleeps. Mom was right. I really do sound like Yuri. Okay, there we go. Still a pretty heavy episode. I think there are like maybe 2 more episodes after this. Then we're finished. This is a long one, but I like it. Hey, Yuri! We're gonna see that in the next part. There we go. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, leave and tell me in the comments down below what you think about the game so far. And when we have finished up this game, we're going to return to some more horror games after this. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Never ever forget to stay awesome. I'll see you soon. Toodeloo!